We thank the Lord for giving you the eagerness to learn the Bible lessons daily. These programs are sent every day to help those who do not get the time to read the Bible systematically, as well as those who have already read the Bible several times yet desire to get reminded about the teachings of the Bible in a clear and deep way in English and Tamil languages. These programs are being sent in both audio and script formats every day to help us grow in the knowledge of God. Kindly continue to listen, read, and be benefited by these lessons daily. However, these programs should in no way be used to replace the Bible. These are being sent mainly to encourage and motivate you to read and to study your own Bibles regularly. God bless you all.
Learn the Bible series, program number 124. Bible Depths Notes, part 9, portion 3, pages 1 to 3, the book of 1 Peter, lesson 1. Emperor Nero of Rome set fire to a part of Rome city. Why? He had a passion to build more and more new houses. Most of the houses in Rome had wooden floorings and ceilings because it was a cold country, so they could be burnt very easily. Nero's servants reignited the fire when it got quenched so that the entire houses in the area could get burnt. The fire raged for 3 full days and the people of Rome revolted against Nero. So Nero was searching for a scapegoat on whom he could put the blame so that the people did not flare up. It was at that time that the church was teaching about the second coming of Lord Jesus and that this world would get destroyed by a fire after that time. So it was very easy for Nero to put the blame on the new believers and the early church, saying it was they who had set fire to their houses to excite the people that they had come to the last days and that the second coming of the Lord was very near. What was the outcome? The people in Rome started attacking the early Christians in a brutal way. In addition, Nero also pretended as though he too was very grieved about the people whose houses were burnt. How? By catching some of these believers, dipping them on coal tar and setting them on fire as human torches in his garden. In a few days' time, the atrocities against the believers started spreading to the entire Roman Empire. So Peter writes in his first book how the believers must respond to their sufferings. They are lessons to the modern day believers also as to how they must live in this world during adverse situations. 1 Peter 2:13 to 17. In spite of their sufferings, Peter advises the believers to 1. Obey all government laws. 2. Continue doing good works. 3. Honor the king and all men. 4. Love the neighbors. And 5. Fear God. 1 Peter 4:13 to 17. Peter asked the believers to remember the sufferings of Lord Jesus. So compared to that, the sufferings that they were undergoing was nothing. He says that it would be wrong if a Christian underwent any sufferings for having committed a murder or theft, etc. But if he underwent any sufferings for being a Christian, he need not feel ashamed about it, but be assured of a reward from God. 1 Peter 2:19 to 23, Peter writes that suffering for Christ was a calling, and so a believer suffering for Christ should only rejoice about it because we had been found worthy in the eyes of God and chosen by Him for that special life. 1 Peter 2:18, Peter tells the slaves at that time what they should do at times of their sufferings for God. Those days, there were about 60 million slaves all over the Roman Empire. Slaves did not mean only those people doing mean jobs. When the Romans conquered a country, they would take away all the citizens of that defeated country as slaves to Rome. There would be doctors, engineers, judges, etc. among them, and they were the ones who did all the works for the Romans in their respective fields. The Romans could get any number of slaves from the government and get their works done through them. Usually, the Romans would not strain themselves doing any hard physical works but would enjoy their lives easily. These slaves had no rights to get married, but they could have sex with any other slave in their camp. The children born would become the properties of the government. When such was the situation of the slaves those days, a few among them got saved by the Lord, and Peter is telling such believers what they should do. They were admitted into the church equally without any discrimination, but how they were to conduct themselves after they went back to their places from the church is what is given by Peter in this verse. Peter tells them to be more obedient to their masters after their salvation than before it, and do more good to them, not only to their good and gentle masters, but also to their rough and cruel masters. We shall continue this lesson in our next program. God bless you.